All right, so a lot of good feedback on my video asking about double wides. A number of you said that double wides, the drawback is that A, they might not be well manufactured, not well made. I wonder if that's still the truth anymore. I don't know. But mostly the negatives on the double wide was that they don't appreciate in value. Huh. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk, because that in of itself, I don't think is a deal breaker at all. The guy's got some squash growing right by his front yard, right by the mailbox. Weird place to put squash. Look at that behind me. Look at that. Anyway, so let's talk about this. All right, so my man in Arizona, there's two things going on. My man in Arizona commented that he bought 3 double wides at $70,000 each a number of years ago. He rents them out for $1,500 a month, something like that. And right now they're worth $150,000. Now, I commented, I said that seems to be what the negative, the opposite of what everybody else is saying, that double wides depreciate in value. So I'm not saying, I just don't know. It just seems odd that they would have appreciated by that much. I'm not sure. Come on, buddy. You just pooped. Now he's got to, look. He just pooped. Now he's got to eat the weeds, which tells me he's got to poop again. But I got a bag full of poop here, so I only have one bag. So I hope if he does it in a discreet place, because the neighbor's going to be saying, Josh. All right, anyway, so he's got, so he's the exception, at least of the people commented. Now, other people commented, come on, buddy, and they say basically, the double wides don't appreciate, they depreciate, almost like a vehicle. Well, I appreciate that, no pun intended. Is that even a pun? But here's my thought process. So check this out. Real estate doesn't appreciate to the extent that people think it does. It just does not. It literally depends on your location. And so what I mean by that, if you look, real estate appreciates by the rate of inflation going back to the dawn of mankind. There's just no other way around. Now, if you bought a house in Greenville, South Carolina 20 years ago when it's still a pit, yes, that has appreciated a hell of a lot more than inflation. Because of gentrification and whatnot. Same thing if you bought, my granddad bought when he retired from the Navy, they bought their house in Los Altos, California for a song. And when he died, and Grammy moved to New Jersey for a nursing home, when they sold that house when Grammy died, that went for a good price, 7 figures, low 7 figures, but 7 figures nonetheless. But don't forget, they had that house for 50 years. You see what I'm saying? And who knew that Silicon Valley would go the way it was because of Hewlett Packard and whatnot in their business. But be it as it may, there's tons of houses that you would have bought in, let's say, Lewiston, Maine, that went the opposite. Because there's a paper mill, booming paper mill back then, and now it's just freaking. It's not the same because the paper jobs all went out, and now you got. It's just not the same. I don't want to say any more than that, for fear of offending my good folks in Lewiston, Maine. All right, so for every Greenville, South Carolina, Los Altos, California, you have an opposite effect that says homes, stick-built homes, certainly did not appreciate the way people seem to think it is. And then if you just look at, as a whole, real estate has grown by the rate of inflation, literally going back to the dawn of mankind. Since basically Robert Shiller has been keeping the data on this. And you can look up Robert Shiller, Shiller, S-H-I-L-L-E-R, a la Yale, and you can read his own, download his own spreadsheets, which is actually quite cool. All right, so let's go back. So real estate in of itself, you can't say, I bought a stick-built house, is going to appreciate in any significant way. You can't say that. But then he said, but at least it'll keep up with inflation. Okay, I grant you that. And keeping up with inflation also means property tax keep up with inflation, whatnot. So nothing inherently wrong with that. And if you sell it, you'll sell it for a gain that would probably be tax-free. I get all that. How much does it cost, though, to maintain, to upkeep, and just to occupy a house that is appreciating in value over your retirement? And are you truly buying and living in a home for appreciation, or are you buying and living in a home to live in a home, to have a roof over your head? And if you're a retirement and you're thinking there's this retirement crisis, right? And we've already established 1,000 million times a Sunday that the biggest expense you have in retirement is real estate, is housing. There's nothing even comes close. Well, wouldn't a double wide make sense even if it depreciates? Because just going back to my man in Arizona, say the same stick-built house you got to pay for right now costs $150,000, and you bought a $70,000 double wide, so you paid half of what the guy paid for the stick-built house in Phoenix. And just using that for example. So I bought one for $150 stick-built. You bought a double wide for $70,000, and both on permanent foundations. Just using it. So both taxes, real estate, real estate, and all that. All right. Now, both have mortgages potentially, which you can write off. Probably not, but both, theoretically the same exact scenario, except one's stick-built, one's double wide. All right. So now you're sitting there thinking, what does a stick-built in terms of living do differently? Oh, good. Oh, I just puked. All right. See, that's what happens when you eat weeds, buddy. Oh, boy. So what's the difference in terms of your living? Because what we're trying to accomplish in retirement planning, we're not trying to accomplish that you, we're just trying to make sure that you don't run out of money. You don't run out of money, right? And so if there is a retirement crisis, and you're worried about running out of money, then isn't a $70,000 double wide much more valuable to you than a $150,000 stick-built house? Appreciation be damned. We just want to make sure you are not running out of money. It's weird. And then on top of that, that's $70,000, the opportunity cost of that $70,000 that you did not spend on that stick-built house, you can park in the bank, you can invest all these different things. In fact, I would argue that if you invest it, it's probably going to appreciate more than your real estate would. I just been thinking about this. If we have this scenario where we're worried about running out of money, and there are two things that are equal, that we need a house over our roof over our head, and we don't really care if, I think Susie Orman said this one time, which actually I liked when I used to, she has some things to say that are of value. But she goes, when you go to a hotel, all you're doing is you're renting the bed. Why pay $500 for a hotel when you can pay $100 for a hotel as long as it's clean and safe and all that? Because you're going there to sleep. And the same thing with a stick built versus a double wide. The point about your housing is to provide you a safe place to live. Anyway, I just think it out loud here. I know this is a challenge, but I'm just like, who cares about depreciation? Where I'm going with this. I mean, I get it. You care about depreciation if you have to sell to go to nursing home and all that. I get all that. But then again, I say, okay, but the cost of the stick-built house, the opportunity cost of not having to spend that money on that stick-built house, hopefully you're doing something with. And then, of course, you still got the land. I hate to say it, double wide in Arlington, Virginia, before they freaking gentrified it. Like my dad, he had bought when he opened up his bar in Arlington, Virginia on Clarendon, or Wilson, Clarendon, I think. That was a hole. It was a hole. Now it's freaking booming. You can't buy a house in Arlington, Virginia in that side of less than 7 figures. So if you put a double wide on there, back then, you're not selling it for the double wide, you're selling for the location. And you made a freaking pretty penny on that, man. But it's a double wide. Well, yeah, it won't appreciate. Well, the property itself might not appreciate the house, but the land certainly did. And I don't care if you put a freaking Taj Mahal in some town that's just got, that's just come run down. That thing isn't going to sell. Anyway, it's the location that matters. And if location that matters, for appreciation value, okay, well, hopefully choose the right place. Why are you peeing there? Oh, I got a weird dog, man. But if the location matters, then that's all speculation. If the place to live over your head is what matters, that changes it just changes the trajectory, in my opinion, the way you should think about this. I'd like to hear your thoughts. All right, we'll see you.